Paintball nerd.
All right, today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5, we have an individual who's been playing since 1995, 27 years in paintball. He played for Impact, not the one that you think, but the original Impact. He played for Check It. He played for the Bushwhackers. He played for KAPP in 2002, who eventually became Avalanche in 2004. In 2006, he joined Excessive, and then he joined Infamous in 2007. He's got 10 plus pro wins. He's got 2 ICPL 10-man Pro Series victories. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cowboy Roy. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to have you.
Thanks. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
man.
love the paintball nerd thing and what you're doing. It's cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean you are a paintball nerd.
Oh yeah. Always.
And I remember SC Village days. We played with each other a little bit, but more so against each other. And man, just grinding it out every weekend in the cow poop and hair and pee.
Those fields, yeah. There was nothing better smelling than the hyperball fields at SC Village on a Saturday morning after it had rained out in Corona during the week.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and you'd bring your gear home and the stuff would just be crusted on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ruin your washing machine.
I definitely got pink eye from playing out there and getting that water in my eye. Oh yeah.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
That's disgusting.
I know I wouldn't be the only one.
Dude, I remember I have a memory that sticks out in my head playing against you. I think you were with the Whackers, and I think I was playing with Legacy, which came after Impact, right? You were on Impact with Nick and Jesse and those guys, and then that team eventually became Legacy. And I remember we were practicing against you guys, and it was on the double subfield. Remember the double subfield?
Yeah.
And then like right in the middle of the field, right next to the double subs or in between the double subs, there's this like little tiny X. And I was in that little tiny X and you were somewhere like in a stand-up or something. And I was looking inside towards the double subs, and then someone just ran by very silently and bunkered me, like just gently, tap, tap, it was nice. And then I look over and it's you standing there shooting the rest of the team. So that was a good memory.
You got better memory than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I do. I remember a lot in paintball, man.
Yeah. Those SC Village days were good though, right? Like,
dude,
you could go out there, on any given weekend and play against some of the best in the world, and sometimes play with them, right?
Yeah, I think, growing up in Southern California with the pro scene the way it was in the early 2000s, if you wanted to make it in paintball, it was almost like your fault if you didn't do it, because you had every opportunity to do it. You could get in front of the right people, you could play against the right people, you could play, every weekend. And we even played on the weekdays too, if you remember that.
Yeah. As much as they'd allow us, right?
Yeah.
And there was the weeknights at Hollywood Sports Park too.
Yeah.
That era. And then the Diablo.
Remember Adrenaline Zone?
No, I don't. I don't remember the name.
It was like Adrenaline Zone was like it used to be an outdoor soccer rink, so it's kind of outdoor, indoor, pea gravel.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then Impact Zone that you were talking about, that indoor, it used to go down there.
Yeah. That was like what, Diablo's like warehouse or whatever, paint warehouse.
Yep. Rusty and Chris used to work there, so you could like hang out with them after you played.
Yep.
So that's what the sport's all about, right? Is like stories. Some of them aren't that great, but it's like glory day stuff, So you got a lot of history in the sport, Roy. I mean, even playing since 1995, before a lot of people watching this were even born. What memory sticks out for you?
A singular memory?
Well, you don't have to pick one, I guess.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of memories over the years. Obviously, I think a big one was getting my first pro win as Avalanche. You know, we as KAPP, we had been playing together for novice year for the most part, amateur year, and we won pretty much, you know, almost everything both those years. And then we went pro together as the next, you know, iteration of Avalanche. And so I think we won. It was Chicago that year, which was the fourth event, I think. And so pulling that win out, you know, our first year pro, beating Dynasty and I think it was Miami Effect at that point. You know, knocking those guys out, right? Your first year pro to win a major event, like that was huge.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
you know, so that was a really momentous one. One of my favorite wins, though, of all time was this random little tournament we won in Chicago. No, it wasn't even Chicago. It was Colorado. So Kilborn took us out to this random 5-man event out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I couldn't tell you where the field was or anything, right? It was just a one-off event. And Paxton was with me. Mike Paxton was on my 5-man squad. And we ended up playing the Colorado Sharpshooters for first place. And something went down. We beat them, and something went down where they made us replay the game, and so we had to play them again, and everyone was booing the other team because we had beaten them. So, you know, surely, right? And we should never have had to replay the game, anyways. We did, and it was one of those games where they had a car wash on the right side of the field, and instead of the car wash being, you know, laid out like, you know, this way, it was the length of the field, which was really awkward. And so Mike Paxton played the corner behind it. I went there off the break and went all the way to their side of it, which put me on their side of the field, like almost, I'd say like their 30 in the first 10 seconds of the game. And I kid you not, I shot maybe like 8 paintballs and shot 4 out of the 5 guys. And Paxton was just behind me, railing on the corner to make sure they didn't come, you know, that guy wouldn't come out on me. And we won the game in like 30 seconds. And anyways, it was just one of those ones where like I popped over the top, one ball on this guy, another ball on this guy, like, you know, just didn't miss shots, right? And it was that has always stood out to me. The other crazy part about that though was we go up to the prize, the stand, you know, for our prize or whatever, and you know, I'm thinking like, you know, $100, cool, like, you know, gift certificate, right? And the prize package ends up being the biggest prize package I've ever won. I mean, we each ended up with like $5,000 probably.
What?
Yeah, we each got a cash check for like, I think $1,500. We all got brand new Angel LCDs, brand new Angel Airs, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it was, yeah, we were just like, what is happening right now? Random little tournament in the middle of nowhere. So that was
awesome,
a really
dude.
good one. Yeah.
That's a great one. Those are always great ones, man.
Yeah.
Like the ones that, you know, maybe weren't too well publicized, but they're near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, it was a good one. And you know, winning ICC with Dynasty was a really cool, you know, tournament to win. That's a really hard event to win.
Yeah,
you know?
It is.
And you played, so it's brutal.
Yeah, we got last place. I played with Mirage, which was Rich and LB and what was it, Posey and Lane and Billy Saransky and yeah, we got absolutely mowed. But it was fun. It was a great tournament. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was kind of special too because, you know, all those years I'd been playing against Dynasty, right?
Yeah.
I'd been friends with them for a long time. You know, he lived in PB near a lot of them and hung out with them outside of paintball a lot. But on you know, at tournaments, I was always playing to beat them. And you know, I stepped in, and I think 2017 in Vegas when Gator coached for that event because Rusty had a baby too or something like that. And you know, that was the first time I'd kind of been on their, you know, in their pit or you know, on their sideline, right? And so I was helping doing the scouting and some of the other stuff. And it was cool to see behind the curtain of what they do to prepare a little bit, and their kind of their mindset and their mentality, um, of how they go about, tournaments. And so
Yeah.
ICC was the first time I actually, stepped onto the field with them in a competitive format. Lots of times playing at SC, throw together games, right? But in a actual tournament, that was the first time I played with them. So that was a fun one. And then the KAPP victories over the years have been great. I've always enjoyed playing with a lot of different people. It's one of the things I love about paintball. There is truly a good amount of people in the sport, and the opportunity to get to play with people I've never gotten to play with, and get to know them. I enjoy that very much, for sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too, man. I think actually that's the first time that I played competitively with you was on KAPP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that was special, dude. I appreciate you bringing me on for that.
yeah. No worries, buddy. Glad to have you.
So do you have a favorite player, Roy? You don't it doesn't have to be someone that you played with. It could be someone that you like watching, but do you have a favorite?
God, this is not a tough one. There's a lot of different guys I admire, and different aspects of their game. Whether it be the way they play on the field or their mental, side of things. A couple that stand out significantly: Jr.
Yeah.
John Richardson. He was somebody I tried to mold my game after, my play style, when I was playing pro. And then I got to know him and play on the team, a team with him, right? And so that was pretty cool. He's just he was when he was really on his game, he was one of the guys that could single-handedly turn a game around.
Yep.
7-on-2. If JR was on the field, they could still win that game. And I know you watched him do it many, many a times over
Yeah.
the years. All of a sudden, JR would do some weird shenanigans up through the center, or some run through, and be shooting 6 guys out and win the game. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
"What the hell just happened?"
He
So
wouldn't even be in a bunker and he would just run up the field like,
yeah,
how, what?
yeah, his ability to counterpunch was just phenomenal. There's not been many people that can play the game the way he did. Um, Dave playing with Baines all those years. I mean, his tenacity, like, dude, Dave on the field is a dick. He's a dick. And
Yeah.
he never lets off. It doesn't matter if you're practicing against your own team. That's the way he plays. His competitiveness, is something that was definitely admirable. He plays to win always.
Yep.
Another player I really always have admired is Yosh, and
Yeah.
his consistency that he has brought, for how many years now, right? Like, just
3 decades probably.
yeah, he's an amazing player to watch. And I think I know everyone knows who Yosh Rao is, but I don't. I think he's one of the best, and I don't think he gets enough credit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not super outward about about promoting himself. That's one of the things. It's like this sport is very much like kind of like rock star driven. It's just the more attention you draw, the more attention you get. And he's not one of those guys, but he commands attention on the field for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think I've playing on this new iteration of KAPP. One of the things that really stood out to me was learning for Rodney Squires,
Yeah.
and all that he does to tr- prepare for an event, right? And all the work he puts in. I mean, that is amazing to see. Like, I mean, I get where some of that stuff is, because he comes from Dynasty as well, right? And so some of that bled over to those Dynasty guys, or they learned it from each other. I don't know. But he prepares, and even though it's 10-man, right? And some people think, oh, it's just 10-man or whatever. I mean, he treats that the same way he would if he was playing in a NXL World Cup event, right? He takes
Yep.
it serious, and so that's been really something I've learned from him, which has been pretty cool. I mean, just there's been so many teammates over the years I've learned from and lessons from, and there's a lot of good guys to take lessons away from and grow, right?
Yeah, man. That's one of the best things about the sport is the people that you meet and the impact that they have on your life and your game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Roy, let's talk about paintball products. You got anything like a superstitious item that you take on the field with you or that you can't or you don't want to step on the field without?
I don't have any superstitious, stuff. Like I'm not one of those guys that like if I don't feel right or any of that stuff, like my headgear's not correct, like it's gonna throw my game off now.
Yeah.
Um, I unfortunately I lost all my gear that was near and dear to my heart when I lived with Maddie Marshall back in PB. Someone broke into our garage and stole our gear bags, and
Damn.
so I lost all my headgear. Those the jerseys I had won tournaments in. I did track down my original KAPP Factory jersey, the like true legit one.
Yeah.
So I got that back probably 2 years ago, which was pretty cool to have that. So that's if I had one thing, it's probably the original gold chain KAPP Factory jersey.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Right on.
I love that thing. But yeah.
Cool, Roy. Well, dude, you've reached the top of the game. I mean, you've played with the best. What do you think it takes to get to that level in paintball?
Um, it's tenacity. It's it's hard work. Being the first one there on the weekend to practice, the last one off the field. It's a willing to listen and watch and learn from those around you. Be able to take criticism, constructive criticism, right? But I've seen guys that were very talented and the ego just never let them grow too much because they hit a plateau because they're not able to continue that growth. So just working really hard, always learning and growing, right? I mean, so the greats will tell you that, right? Like they're still learning and growing. I guarantee you that. But those are probably my biggest takeaways. I was obsessive. Like I obsessed over paintball when I was, in that grind. I mean, I would fall asleep every night thinking about the games from the weekend before and going over in my head the mistakes I made, what I could have done differently. I remember when I was first starting out and I'd be at SC Village and I'd take the time to watch the pro teams playing, right? And stand
Definitely.
there and spend time and watching them and learning what they were doing, trying to understand what they were thinking when they made certain moves, stuff like that. And I remember some of my teammates were like, "Come on, let's go play." And I'm like, "Just give me a minute. I want to watch this." Like, "Oh yeah," and they'd tease me, pro or whatever. And I was like, "No, I'm trying to learn right now." Yeah. But I obsessed over paintball. I mean, I lived and breathed it. Every weekend I was playing, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday if I could. It was everything. So
Yep. Yeah, man. That seems to be the answer to every time I ask that question. It's like you have to obsess over it. And it makes sense because if you don't love the game, you're not going to be obsessed with it. And you're not going to put in the work necessary to reach the top. Someone else is going to put in that work and beat you,
Yeah. There's going to be somebody else willing to put in that effort, right? Do the hard work, grind it out. Yeah.
There you go.
There's another kid waiting. Guarantee you that much.
Yep. So Roy, throughout all this time, man, what are you most thankful for that paintball's brought into your life?
People, first off,
Yeah.
some truly lifelong friends that I would have never gained elsewhere. The traveling experience and kind of opening my eyes to the world outside of the bubble I'd grown up in. That was a pretty cool experience, getting to go see different cultures and get to know people from all over the country, all over the world, and spend that time around the world and learning and growing was really cool. And then some really hard fought lessons, right? Learning the definition of teamwork, how to be a good team player, which carried over into the business world that I ended up in. Um,
Mm.
How to, I've talked about this before, but how to navigate a team of people to achieve a common goal, under high stress situation. That's the business world in a nutshell, right? If you're
Yeah.
managing people at all, that's what you're going to be doing. And paintball teaches that, at least for me, that was something I learned playing on a paintball team in those high stress situations, trying to win a tournament. You have people from all different walks of life coming together to try and win. And
Yep.
so that stuff paid dividends for sure. But again, most important thing was just the friendships, the people I've gotten to know over the years. It's just, I'm truly thankful for that.
Amen, dude. Absolutely. So, Roy, thank you so much for your time here today. Is there anything that you want to part with for the paintball community?
Yeah, just keep playing, man. Keep having fun. Keep that love of the game in your heart. Play it as long as you can, while you can, and just give it all you have. Have fun with it.
There it is. Thanks for stopping by, Roy. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon.